southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on the midnight train.
What's going on, guys? Hey, Tony here at the Zero Duck 30 podcast. Tristan is out today. He got the COVID bug, so he's at home keeping many thoughts, and he'll be back on the saddle soon. But you guys, I'm really excited. I got Billy Assad on here from SoFlo Outdoors. What is going on, Billy?
What's up? What's up, man? How's it going?
It's going good, dude. Going good. Thanks for coming on the show today. You know, want to get to know you a little bit better, and then let our listeners hear a little bit some of the crazy things you do down there in South Florida, what you're all about. So, with that to do, man, let's just dive right into it. How about that?
Yeah, man. Let's get into it. My name's Billy Assad. You know, you can call me whatever. Just don't call me late for dinner. You know, it's just trying to do the YouTube thing and the hunting niche of it, hunting and fishing part of it. So, I mean, it's been a little bit of a challenge compared with paired up with work and everything, such a busy schedule.
Sure.
I'm trying to keep on with keeping on.
Yeah, like all of us get paid to do this full time, right?
Try to.
I hear that. So, man, tell our listeners a little bit about your a little bit about yourself, age. You know, what do you do? What do you do outside of hunting, man? I mean, what goes on down there in South Florida? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I am 33, about to be 34 in November. You know, perfect time of the year, duck season right around the corner. I'm actually a operating engineer for the local union, which is pretty stressful. Very busy schedule, crazy hours. And just enjoying the beautiful Florida weather, sweating my gonads off.
And what part of South Florida are you in?
We are in the southeast, so West Palm, Fort Lauderdale, Miami area, and I'm in the Broward area.
Oh, okay, cool, very, very cool, man. So, you know, I've been on all over your social media and stuff, you know, and I've seen everything, and I'm not going to spoil it for the listeners, but you know, I've seen everything from gators to peacock bass to all kinds of cool species of ducks and everything else you chase after, frogs and you name it. But you know, how did you get into waterfowl hunting? And you know, all the other activities you get into, is this something you've been doing since you were a kid, or, you know, I just like to kind of learn where you came from?
Originally, I was born in Pennsylvania and then moved down here with my parents. And I would say I didn't get into hunting until I was in my early 20s from a buddy. But started fishing, you know, outdoors from my dad. I mean, we moved down here in, I think, 95 or 96. I think it was right after Hurricane Andrew or something like that. I forget when it was. But we moved down here, started fishing and stuff like that. I mean, everywhere you throw in a bait in the water, you're catching a fish.
Right.
So one of my buddies said, "Hey, man, let's go duck hunting." And he's been out before and stuff like that. And he's done duck hunting a little bit longer than me. So I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll give it a try." And man, I wanna put him in the ground for it, because I've spent so much money on this freaking hobby or sport or whatever you want to call it. Because after that first season, went out, bought a boat, went out, bought a decoys, a whole bunch of decoys and ammo and calls and everything. And he kind of put me in some debt.
Hasn't somebody done that to all of us?
Yep.
Wow.
But I definitely love him for it, because, man, I mean, chasing birds is nothing like it.
Yeah, it's a different world down there in Florida, as you know.
Oh yeah,
Man. So what all do you get after down there? I mean, are you just chasing everything, whatever season's open, or what's up?
Pretty much anything that's crawling or flying or walking or hopping. Yeah, I mean, deer season is all right. It's deer season now down here. It's almost getting into general gun, I think. But I don't really haven't gone for deer down here.
Mm-hmm.
But alligator is started up. The first phase just ended, I think Monday or Sunday actually, and I pulled some tags for the second phase, which actually started Monday, which would be August 22nd. So I gotta get everything prepped for tomorrow because me and my buddy have I got tags for Lake Okeechobee, so I gotta get everything ready. I'll butt up there and try to pull out another monster like I did 2 years ago.
Is that the one in this picture we got it on the TV here?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
12 foot on the dot.
Look at that freaking Godzilla of a creature. That is beautiful. Yeah, and you guys have to get on social media and check this stuff out on YouTube. But yeah, go on. So
Yeah, I mean, the alligator season is just started up. I love doing frog gigging. Frog gigging is probably one of the best times to pass the time,
right.
if you know what I mean, you know?
Oh yeah.
Because down here we don't have a season for them and there's no bag limit.
That's cool.
So we can go pick as many as we want.
Now, do you guys just straight gig them? Is that the only way you go after them, or do you guys do it any other kind of creative way?
I mean,
just grab them.
Yeah, like depending on the area we're in,
mm-hmm.
we'll gig them. Like if there's like a WMA a little bit north of me in West Palm, it's called Corbett. You'll have little ponds and stuff like that. I mean, you get some pretty decent sized frogs up there, and we just grab them by hand, and throw them in the bag.
That's awesome. I saw one of the pictures. I was like, now that is a meal.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about. It's like, I think it was like 120 frogs.
That makes me laugh just thinking about you guys catching 120 frogs, man, just because it's a blast. If you guys haven't done that, you got to go out and go after frogs, man. You got to.
Oh.
No, it's just so much fun. You know, we used to go out there and you know, we'd either gig them. Then we got brave and decided that we'd throw spears at them. You know, like we were some kind of warrior from
warrior.
Yeah, you know, from the medieval times or something. And you know, of course, nobody hit any. So then we got rid of that idea. Then my buddy comes up with this great idea. He's like, "Bro, I've got a 22 caliber air rifle with a lighted scope on it." And I go, "Get out of here." And yeah, dude, we started shooting him in the face. It was fun. Yeah, dude, we just lay out on the bow of the boat, just lay out like a sniper, you know, and just poke him in the eye. You know, it was actually, you know, we was thinking about all the animal rights activist people out there that, and we wanted to just, you know, as a new method to put them out of their misery quicker. And if you believe that, I got another story for you. No, but anyway, so yeah, man. So, you know, when did you start SoFlo, and why? You know, what got you into that, and what was your passion behind that?
Well, so it started with Instagram.
All right.
And that was in, I think, 2018,
All right.
I think. And, you know, I just wanted to just like kind of showcase and how everything was down here, you know, like the vast variety of different activities you could do. And then I was like, man, I really want to start helping people out. And then I started doing the YouTube thing, and I want to showcase everybody what uh, wing shooting was like in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and that's probably primarily what I wanted my YouTube to be, was pretty much just about duck hunting. And but come to find out, it's a little bit harder than I thought it was.
Have we all ate that freaking pill, man?
Yeah, and so it just started growing from there. I mean, right now I think I have like 750 subs on YouTube. I
Nice.
mean, we're growing ever so slowly, but hey, it's still growth, and it's fine with me.
Well, it's just like I was telling the guys, I remember, you know, we started our Instagram. I remember we got up to like 200 followers, and we were cleaning decoys that night. I had all the guys at the house, and it was good to, just an excuse to drink beer, and we're sitting there and cleaning decoys, and I told all those guys, I was like, as waterfowlers, we experience all kinds of extreme weather conditions. Stay bone dry and warm with Frog Togs hunting gear. You can check them out at frogtogs.com or at frogtogshunt on Instagram. All right, so anyway, we're cleaning the decoys and stuff, and I'm like, you guys, I know we only got 200 followers, but let me tell you this. I go, if we filled my front yard right now with 200 people, wouldn't you be pretty proud of yourselves? And they were like, well, yeah, I never looked at it like that. And that's the way to look at it. Is, it just takes time to grow.
100%. It's just a ongoing process, and just creating a community of people.
Sure. No doubt about it. So tell everyone, they've only been to Florida just to go to the beach or whatever, and so it's hard for a lot of our listeners, especially from the Midwest and the West Coast, to really visualize it, But tell everyone, what types of areas and environments are you typically, water fountain hunting in, and what are some of the challenges associated with hunting those kinds of areas? Kind of dive into that if you don't mind.
Okay, so Florida, it's a massive state, very long. Our coast is extremely long. So I would say if you divide Florida in pretty much three sections,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to have different birds and different types of hunting in all three sections. So the Panhandle, I would say the Panhandle all the way over to Jacksonville. That's from the Gulf all the way over to the Atlantic. So from the west to the east, you're going to have completely different birds that you're going to have from where I'm at in the deep South Florida. So in the Panhandle area, you're going to get divers. You're going to be out in the saltwater flats and stuff like that. And you're going to see thousands upon thousands upon thousands of divers.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nothing to see 10,000 redheads up there.
Right.
In a single day. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah.
Then you start moving inwards. You have some flooded timber and stuff like that, so you can get into wood ducks and mallards. Then you go a little bit further east to almost Jacksonville. You can get into some geese and sometimes even on the Atlantic side, you'll have sea ducks like surf scoters and longtails. Then you move your way down to central, you'll have a little bit more puddle duck action. You'll still get a little bit of honkers down there or up there.
Mm-hmm.
You'll have your mallards and stuff like that. Then you start working your way a little bit more south. I would say from like Okeechobee down to the Keys. You have some diver action, some puddle duck action. Not too many sea ducks. I've only seen one. I wish I would have. I wish it was in season because he was flying around us during teal season. I'm like, oh my God, that would have been an awesome shot, especially in the Everglades. You know, a sea duck out, way out, of course, in the Everglades.
Wow.
That would have been an epic story, but I couldn't take them. And so the terrain, the way it looks, is a sea of sawgrass. It is vegetation from one side of the state to the other side of the state. And you're going to have a pretty big problem if you don't have a boat down here or a kayak or anything to float across some water.
Mm-hmm.
Because most of the areas you have down here are, I would consider them like retention ponds, like massive, massive retention ponds. I mean, like 100,000 plus acres, you know, like, so the main WMA I hunt in is, it's called Area 2. And so you have pretty much all sawgrass. There's no, I wouldn't say really any cattails. Every once in a while you'll get to a cattail spot, but it's not as prevalent as the sawgrass, which makes it difficult if you have, I would say, a surf and drive or a longtail or outboard, because you can't really get to that stuff. So you have to pretty much have an airboat so you can get across all that grass.
Interesting.
And so, I mean, it's not too bad. The vegetation is insane down here for the aquatic vegetation, not just the sawgrass. We have hydrilla up to your chest. So it makes finding the birds kind of hard.
And you got tons of water.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the one thing, too, about South Florida is all the water that we have. Because the last year and the year before were actually not the best season for duck hunting. It was real tough because we had a record amount of rainfall both years. So they were sitting on farm ponds and stuff. A lot of ducks were sitting on private land, put it that way.
I got you.
So they weren't where they were supposed to be. They were all in the area that they weren't getting shot at.
Why do they always do that?
I guess they see a new body of water and they're saying, hey, this looks better than getting shot at.
Right? Well, you know, and here's something that I want to tell like all the greenhead purists out there, and somebody will get butthurt about that. You watch, it's gonna be funny. By the way, we're declaring that we are blue-winged teal purists. By the way, we got some decals coming out with those on it. I think it's pretty sweet. But you know, the amount of water in Florida, and just so you guys know, we're not talking about just the coastal areas because those are all duck huntable. Even puddle ducks on the coast in brackish waters, but there's so much water in the state of Florida. You know, the water table's so low. I really truly believe that some of our best duck hunters come out of Florida. And the reason why I say that is because Dude, it's one thing if you could just drive up and down the Mississippi River, right? Yeah, there's a lot of tributaries. I get it, guys. I understand there's a lot of flooded areas, blah, blah, blah. There's marshes, all this stuff. But y'all, in Florida, there's so much water. It requires so much public land scouting. And like you said, sometimes it's like a desert marsh, you know, and it's just as far as you can see. It's that sawgrass, you know what I mean? So I think so some of the best duck hunters I've met come out of there. I mean, y'all know how to go out there and find those doggone things. You know, it blew my mind when I was talking with a buddy and he's like, "Oh yeah, dude." He goes, "We smoke pintails down here, widgeon. You know," he goes, "mallard here and there. You know," he goes, "You know, mottleds are easy. We smoke 2 different kinds of whistlers and all this yada yada yada." And I was just like, bro, I'm gonna break your legs, all right, because it's not that easy. But anyway, no, man, you guys hunting some crazy environments. So what are some of the challenges, you know, that you're dealing with when it comes to that stuff? You know, when it comes to airboats, I mean, you guys are going way out there at times, right?
Yeah, pretty much. So we have this one area I usually hunt. Since there's so much water down here, it's trying to find, let's see, you're trying to find you're almost literally trying to find some dry land. Because
right?
Ducks aren't, for the most part, going to be sleeping in the water, down here at least, because of all the predators we have.
Right. That's an important. I mean, that's a very unique point you're making there. I mean, I just like me. I'm sure everybody else listening to this is just went, say what? Talk a little bit about expand on that one.
Well, so since me and some of the buddies have access to airboats, and you know, we go out frog gigging and everything, and so we'll find huge mud flaps. I mean, let's say 40 by 50 feet wide mud flaps.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a big floating piece of mud. And you'll see remnants of ducks all over them. You'll have their feathers, and that's where they love to sit at nighttime. Because we spooked up a whole roost and everything when we're out scouting or something like that, we'll spook them all up when they're sitting on those big mud flaps or mung mats, whatever you want to call them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty much what you want to look for. And you want to look during the day is their flight path. I mean, it'll change every once in a while, but the majority of the birds, they have this same exact flight path. So that's what you want to really look for. And the next thing is be good at calling.
Gotcha. Yeah, see, that's such an interesting contrast between Midwest hunting and down there in Florida. I mean, y'all listening to this, you know, what he's saying is true. You know, I see it with my own eyes. And of course, you know, we had our stomping grounds down there. We were more in the middle and northern sectors, but you know, the thing that he's talking about is, you know, migration's a different animal altogether. It's not, I wouldn't even classify it even close to the same as the Mississippi Central, maybe the Pacific, but it's a different animal. You know, when these birds come down here, they don't go up and down based on how the weather is, you know, and we're hunting out there in Arkansas, man. I mean, it could change every single day, depending on what that weather's doing, depending on where the birds are going. You know, they might hang out in an area for a little bit and get some food and rest and whatever, but they can move all the time. You're right about that because I've seen it, man. That's crazy stuff. So you spend a lot of time out scouting, I'm guessing, and a good binoculars or good scope is priceless.
Oh yeah. Worth its weight in gold. And so down here, like I said, it's a sea of sawgrass. So you see how high cattails are. I presume you have cattails in your area, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they get up to like 10 feet tall.
Mm-hmm.
Sawgrass, you're 5 feet. So you have like, it almost looks like a prairie, but
I can
of
visualize
water.
it. Now, is that tidal at all? Some is, some isn't, or
Um, the way South Florida manages the water, I would say it's almost tidal
I see.
because it seems like they hold water right at the beginning of duck season. They're not really pumping it out or anything like that. So the water just keeps rising if they're holding. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So that's one predicament we have down here is high water. And when you have high water, the birds don't like it for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
They like that 1 to 2 foot shallow depth of water around here. And like I said, the abundance of food is everywhere.
So
We're already starting to see teal down here now.
no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I heard some people that I've talked to, and that I would call really damn knowledgeable about this flyway, especially in Florida. But I don't know how many fishermen I know that have been off the coast of Jacksonville that have been 50, 60, 70, 80 miles out offshore and have, big flocks of 100, 500 teal come
Oh,
flying
yeah.
over them. And, we were talking a little bit about with somebody here recently, but, they kind of cut off that not all of them follow the teal anyway. They like to just kind of cut that off and come straight down and get down into the National Wildlife Refuge down there and on the coast and stuff. But what kind of birds are you guys seeing out there? And let's kind of just jump. Let's go from puddle ducks to divers.
So our main bag down here is mottle, a ringneck, and a teal. That's like our South Florida bag.
Is that blue wings or green wings or both or?
Both, but most of the time it's both.
Okay.
Um, the but like I said, on the Gulf Coast, you're having canvasbacks and redheads. You'll get the surf scoters, and birds like that up that way, but we don't really see them down here.
You guys get any scalp down there, like the lessers or the graders, or?
Yeah, we'll get some bluebills down here.
I know a couple years back, early season, especially from I'd say mid Florida down south, I was getting a lot of reports of a lot of lesser scalp getting smoked in the month of October. I mean, not October, in November.
Yeah. Like Lake Okeechobee, if you want some lesser scups or greater scups, that's the place to be.
Nice.
It's Lake Okeechobee. You'll see them just like the redheads up in the Panhandle. It's crazy. You'll see them just loafing on the water out there, and you'll see them by the thousands. And it's like Florida, like I said, is a weird state because on the West Coast, you'll have a little bit more teal out in the saltwater marshes,
Mm-hmm.
and if you even go further south to, let's say, 10,000 Islands, that's a WMA. They allow duck hunting there.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, I'm sorry, it's a refuge. So they allow duck hunting there, and it's all saltwater marsh. The you'll get pintail, teal, widgeon, a whole variety of birds down there. And on the East Coast where I'm at, you're mainly seeing teal, mottles, and ringnecks. And then black-belly whistlers. I'm sorry, I forgot about that, dude. Because their population has exploded.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing. And it's just the regular 6 limit on those, right?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Is it the same with the, now you guys get some Fulvius down there too, right?
Yeah. Yep. You're only allowed one of them down here.
One of those down there. Okay. Yeah. And if y'all haven't seen, what those ducks are all about, those, they are some unique acting animals. And that was kind of leads into my next question is, if someone's wanting to target black belly whistling ducks or Fulvius, because, there's a lot of people out there that are just out there to try a different experience and knock that one off the list. What's their behavior like? Let's first, before we get on to the second part of this question, let's just talk about what do you see in the behavior of how whistling ducks act year round? Like, what do they do? What does a whistling duck do?
So we'll start off with the black belly. The black belly is definitely a flock duck. What I mean by a flock duck is that they're going to be in a group of usually like 5 or more.
Okay.
And it's not a problem to see maybe 15 to 20 of them flying together. So you'll have a real good chance of getting your limit of whistlers.
Do you want coffee that doesn't suck? Get the Duck. Dirty Duck coffee is made specifically for the waterfowl enthusiast. Enjoy flavors like Morning Wood, Dark Dynasty, Cinnamon Teal Snickerdoodle, and First Flight to unlock the flavor that you'll enjoy in the blind for years to come. Our friends at Dirty Duck Coffee Company are now offering all Zero Duck 30 followers a 15% discount when you use code ZeroDuck15 on your next order. Now, how do they fly? Talk about how they fly compared to 15 or 20 other, say, teal. Not teals, that's not a good example, but compared to a normal puddle duck.
Well, so they, I call them a goose duck hybrid, the black bellies, because they stand extremely tall for a duck. They have super long legs, a super long neck, and I mean they are one of the goofiest birds I've ever seen flying. I wouldn't say they bunch up like teal. They're usually pretty spread out, but they are in a ball. So whenever they're flying in, I mean they don't quack. They whistle, literally whistle. It's just like almost like the teal whistle.
Yeah.
So if you do kind of like a widgeon sound, it's something like that. Yeah.
Something. Now there's guys down there that I've seen that take shotgun shells and take out the primers and they put one inside the other, and it's actually you can make a black belly whistle out of those, I guess.
Yeah. They punch out the primer on both ends, like where the firing pin hits the shell.
Mm-hmm.
They punch that out on both sides. Then they take 2 of them and they stick it to each other, like kind of like glue them, press them into each other.
Mm-hmm.
And you have your whistle right there.
Now, now, what I've witnessed with those, and this was actually, I really got a clear picture of this last year during early teal. I'd heard how much that they feed at night. but I guess I didn't really realize it until I started realizing it in my head during this early teal 2 days in a row. And then, of course, all the other experiences. Every time that I have seen black belly whistlers, unless you're hunting in a very heavy hunting area that keeps them up for a while, dude, they're going from point A to point B, and they're usually, when you're seeing them, they're going to their roost, right?
Yeah.
During the first daylight hours, right? Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what I've seen out of them.
I've seen them in trees. I've seen them on telephone pole.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a real cool area, kind of a little bit more north than me. It's I don't know if you heard of TM Goodwin.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So there's right next to it. There's a WMA, and it's lined with pretty much old palm trees. I don't know if it was an old sod farm or something where they had the rows or whatever it was that they flooded eventually.
Mm-hmm.
It was lined with palm trees, so they are everywhere. And you got to be kind of careful when you're running out there because you have those big old stumps in the water. It's
There's a lot of bass fishermen that go out there. If it's the same place where I'm thinking of.
Probably. Or you might be thinking of Headwaters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's like in the general area.
I gotcha.
The that area is, I'll almost say it's Whistler duck heaven out there.
I've seen a couple, 3 or 4. Yeah, it's just, they're such a weird one, man. I mean, you can tell if y'all see some whistlers coming, at first glance, all you Midwest guys, you're like, here come a bunch of honkers. And their head sits kind of low and their neck kind of sticks out, but they fly like in a flock, like he said, in a V, like a Canadian goose, sort of. Yeah.
Like I was saying, that they're almost like a hybrid.
Yeah. Yeah. And they're slow, and what a great duck for youth to get after, but they just start to fly. They start to fly higher and higher as people start to increase their BB, as the season goes on, they start to fly higher, but it's such a unique duck. And the population exploding. I mean, keep exploding. Maybe we'll get a conservation season, but I do think that they're starting to get this big love. Floridians are getting this big love for the whistling duck because it's such a common sight anymore. But talk about the mysterious, to me it is anyway, the mysterious fulvous whistling duck. How's it different from the black belly and what? I don't know nothing about their behavior.
They're pretty similar in stature. It's just a little bit smaller. I would say they're like a wood duck size.
Mm-hmm.
Their neck is a lot longer. And they almost are like a solitary bird, I would say, when flying. Because every time I've seen them, you'll see them in ones or twos. Okay. I think the most I ever seen was like 5 altogether.
Wow.
So they are I wouldn't say they're a rare bird. They're just uncommon to actually get. I mean, some of the areas like STA 5s, they're more prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
And STA 1, mm-hmm. they're a little bit more prevalent. But I've never seen them out in the WMAs I've actually hunted. The whistlers, yeah, like I said, they're everywhere. But the fulvous, they're in certain areas. And I was talking to this old timer one time when we went out to STA, and we're sitting there. He's like, "Man, we used to see the fulvous all the time." more than the black bellies. And
Wow.
they're back in the day, the limit was I think 6 fulvas.
No kidding.
Yeah.
So they kind of, were the forefathers of the of the black belly whistler, right? The black belly
Yeah.
needs to pay them some respect, bro.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's awesome.
I don't know how long ago it was because the dude I was talking to had to be in his late 80s and he was still out duck hunting.
Goodness,
So I give
that's
him props
awesome.
to that.
Yeah.
But he's like, yeah, man, you can see the neck bands on them and everything.
Neck bands.
Yeah, that's how big these they're long their necks are.
But people don't even neck band a honker.
Yeah.
Bro, that's how proud would you be? Every duck hunter listen to this right now. I want to stop. Listen, man. What kind of a beast would you be if you got on your Instagram or something holding up a fulvius with a collar on it like a deer? I mean, you just like, what kind of a badass? You want to talk about having bragging rights, man? That would be insane.
Oh yeah.
So, all right. So let's talk about, you already said you already seen them. So one thing that's unique about Florida, y'all, is Florida's got, I believe it's a week of the early teal season. It's the first, I would call it the first part. Am I correct by saying that? It's the first part of early teal. First half. You can shoot your normal limit of wood ducks and teal. So, a 6 possession limit, you can go out and shoot 2 wood ducks and...
Well, actually, in Florida, it's 2 during early season,
right,
and 3 wood ducks during regular season.
Does one of them have to be a hen during regular?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where. Yep, you're right about that. You're absolutely right. Yeah, so it creates this cool little buzz, being able to go out there and hunt both of them. So before we dive into the teal, do you guys have wood ducks down there?
Oh yeah.
No kidding.
We have plenty of wood ducks.
Wood duck should be the national bird.
It was opening day last season. I hit a Scotch double, and it was a pair, a Drake wood duck and a hen wood duck.
Wow.
And man, yeah, me and my buddies were like, wow.
Dude.
So stoked on that one.
That for sure, man. I mean, they're absolutely beautiful birds that are as erratic and fast. I mean, from a sporting side of it, they're the hell of a bird to hit, and that's awesome, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it was, we heard them coming. My buddy, so when you're hunting down here, you have to have your head on the swivel because it's low lying. There's no trees. There's pretty much no coverage. So you're pushing your boat up into the sawgrass or into some bulrush, trying to get concealed. And either you go out and wade in the water or you stay in the boat. And you have to have your head on the swivel because you see one bird flying out in the distance and you think he's calling, let's say like 300 yards out.
Mm-hmm.
You think he's coming in and you tell your buddy, hey man, make sure you're looking the other way. I'll keep my eye on that bird because as soon as you take your eyes away, there's going to be another bird flying behind you. You're just going to hear that.
Yeah, right.
And you're like, what was that? And you look by and you just see the butt of a duck flying away.
Man, you ain't lying. That is one cool thing about being in the marsh, that you don't get so much in the timber is that, and it's just the obstruction of trees. But yeah, when you get your tower bust at Tom Cruise type speed. Dude, yeah, it's like, I swear it makes the hair on my bald head move.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So what is, you guys are out there, the teal that are down there, I mean, most of them, I'm assuming, are eating a lot of crustacean, a lot of shallow water crustaceans of different sorts. There's not necessarily crops of rice. I mean, you get your wild millets and things like that, but what do you see down there?
Out in the Everglades, hence the name Everglades. So all the glades is just a sea of sawgrass that goes on forever.
Right.
You have hydrilla, so you're mainly seeing them eat actual plants.
Really? Very cool. Okay.
Yeah. So that's what their typical diet consists of. And you'll see them eat the whole bunch of tadpoles and stuff. Like, we have a real good population of frogs, as you see in that one picture.
Right.
They'll eat the tadpoles and maybe little minnows and stuff like that. That's pretty much the majority of the teal's diet down here. But like we said before, kind of repeating ourselves, it's just everywhere down here. And that's what makes it hard.
Right. What kind of numbers are teal? Like, everybody, it's no secret that like South Texas is, it's just a massive teal smashdown during early teal. You can get real lucky in Arkansas. Everywhere else, it's a little flighty down the Mississippi Flyway. I know it can be good in some of the other, like Louisiana Delta and all that stuff. But, do you guys get into them good? Like, I mean, when you find them, what kind of numbers are you seeing down there?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. The teal numbers are excellent down here. Especially like during late season when you're not really seeing any big ducks, you're shooting majority teal. So,
so you're going to tell me that you are a blue-winged teal purist, aren't you?
I mean, I would say.
I need somebody on board with me on this, right? Starting a movement.
Yeah. Start a revolution.
Yep. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, you're good. But we'll see, I mean, flocks of hundreds of teals, 100, 200, 300 teal.
Jeez.
Yeah. And it's, if you want to take pictures after season of some stud blue-winged teal, this is the spot to be, because we'll run up in the airboat to a certain spot we go to, and you will see easy 2,000 teal sitting there, and they know it's not season. I wish they acted like that when it was season, because we'll pull up in the loud airboat. We're running straight pipes on an aircraft motor, and we'll pull up. They'll jump up, but they will not leave.
No kidding. So they act like a bufflehead.
Yeah, they'll just keep circling, landing, and circling and landing.
They know the routine, man.
Oh yeah, but if it's during season, we do the same thing and pull up. They're not coming back.
They just went to Argentina. They're not coming back.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, those birds drive me crazy, dude. They're so fun. I got lucky. I am, because I'm a veteran, Florida does this, the veteran and military hunt at the end of, after closing weekend. So usually it's the first weekend of February, and went down and we, Merritt Island's a huge place. It's down close to where they launched the rockets and everything else. But, hey, Good time for a commercial, Tristan. Anyway, yeah, I got a call into the phone, and hold on, we'll get it back going here. All right, here we go. Where was I at with that? Doggone it, what is that? Oh, so anyway, yeah, we got lucky and start back over. So we went down during the veteran and military hunt. I went down there with a buddy of mine, Mario. Have you met Mario Casado?
I don't think so.
Yeah, you will at some point. They're crazy. Him, his wife, his sons, they're duck smashing machines. But went down there with some buddies and stuff to hunt that, and man, we racked them and stacked them on the blue-winged teal fully plumed. And I'd never hunted that late in the season, obviously. And what a difference that extra week or so made to the beauty of those birds. I had no idea the iridescence with that purple into the blue-gray on their head, the white V-stripe they can get down the back of their heads. I mean, they are an absolutely beautiful bird. And, yeah, I think we took home 3 mounters out of that weekend.
Awesome.
I mean, that day. Just a very cool bird that's tough to hunt. And obviously you guys just have a pile of them down there. So, man, I mean, that's something that if y'all are out there and you're trying to get after a blue-winged teal and you want to go after some redfish, even go offshore and go smoke some teal and wood ducks, if it's during the first week, y'all got to get down to South Florida, man. So I always love to talk, just about everybody I have on the podcast. I tell Tristan this, I want to know their funny story, because I think there's so many, or not even just their funny story, but their most favorite story. Because I think, in so many ways, we all do the same stupid stuff. We all have a whole bunch of fun. And what's your craziest or funniest story, that you can remember? Our partners at Huntwise are offering an exclusive discount for Zero Duck 30 followers. As an elite member, some of the features you'll immediately gain access to are Huntcast, Windcast, peak kill times, property lines, owner information and phone lookup, 250 map layers, unlimited offline maps, 3D maps, social media, and on top of it all, save up to 50% on some of the top hunting brands in the industry. Download and explore the #1 hunting tool set today and save 20% by using code DUCK30.
I got a couple.
Phil, go ahead. Tell them up, man. If you got a couple of them, go right ahead, because everybody listening is probably been through the same shit.
So, okay. From I would say the second or third season I started hunting, like really getting into birds.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, I really want a spoonbill. A stud spoonbill. I'm sitting there waiting. Nothing one season. Next season, we're like, okay, I'm going to get one this season. So we draw an STA permit.
Mm-hmm. We
go out, and it's me and 2 other of my buddies. We're sitting there. I tell my buddy, I'm shooting a spoonbill. He goes, okay, we'll see if that happens. So we're shooting nothing but ringers that morning.
Mm-hmm.
And this one bird is coming straight at me. And we're like hopping around like in this little slough. I mean, we were moving around way too much. But the birds seemed like they didn't care. So I'm like, let's spread out and see if we can get something to like land in the decoys, because I think I might be exposed a little too much or something like that. So I'm going to move down. I moved probably about like 60 yards from my buddy. We're kind of spread out now. And I have this spoonbill coming in. You see this $50 on its bill. I mean, plain as day, and he's lined up directly with me. And my one buddy, he was new. That was his first season, and like I said, he was about 60 yards away. And I'm starting to get ready to shoulder my gun, and all of a sudden, my buddy shoots at it, and it flies away. I'm like,
Oh, snap.
my God. And my buddy that's even further away, he goes, hey, that was your spoonbill. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
He was flying right for you.
Exactly.
Oh my God.
So last season, I go to my buddy. We run up north a little bit, almost to central Florida, and I tell him, I'm like, hey, I'm shooting a spoonbill. So,
dude, I love your passion for the spoonie, dude. I love the spoonie. I do.
I just want a beautiful stud spoonbill duck. So we're sitting there. We're sitting in the swamp. We're waiting. You know, we push the airboat out into the bulrush to hide it. So we walk out into the swamp, and there is absolutely nothing flying. I mean, nothing flying. We hear one gun go off almost all afternoon, or all morning to the afternoon.
Oh.
We're sitting there and we're toughing it out, and we're starting to get drained because we slept in the swamp, and in the morning time, we're just like, hey, let's go walk out, start setting up. And he goes, all right, man, let's go. And it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're sitting there like we're kind of like almost dozing off that it's that slow. And I just look to my left, and here comes the spoonbill. I just look at it, and it just flies away. I'm like,
oh, no.
Why?
He flashed you and passed you?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm sitting there like, just like, I guess we were like in a daze. You know, there's no action all day long. And we're sitting there like, oh, that's a spoonbill. Okay. Flies away, and we're like, all right, it's time to go home, man.
That's when you want to throw all your toys on the ground and just be like, bro, that is not fair.
Exactly. Exactly.
Oh.
And then we had another similar story like that with we're sitting there. It was, I wouldn't say a terribly slow day. It was kind of mediocre. I mean, we had, I think, about 7 birds
Mm-hmm.
in the boat. It was getting a little late. It's probably around like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. And the area we hunt, that's usually packing up time. And we're sitting there, and we're just like, we're all sitting down, BSing with each other and on our phones and whatnot. And my buddy looks up and he goes, oh man, pintail. And they were probably about 30 yards away, and they just in and out of the spread. I'm like, oh man, we missed our pintails and everything. And it was a late season pintail too. Because I think that was like the second to last day of the season. So he would have been a full spring.
Wow. Jeez, man. You know, it's so crazy that, you know, I love seeing the eyes of a hunter, you know. Tristan and I, if you guys follow this podcast, follow us hunting, all that stuff, you know, one thing that I'll get up and fight like somebody's messing with my own daughter type of fight is if I see people like not giving credit where credit is due, because, you know, there's this false perception of what a hunting experience is supposed to be like, right? And a lot of that's based on TV, most of it is, honestly. And I love, I've shot almost 70 deer with my bow, and one of my most favorite deer that I've ever shot was a couple years ago in Georgia. It was a spike that looked like the devil, and it had spikes like I'd never seen. They're like 8 inches long each side, and I told my buddy, I was like, dude, that was one of my favorite hunts. I told him the story about it, and he goes, bro, what about that story that split G2 12 point he shot in Illinois that you grunted, he come running down, was going to whoop your ass and all that stuff, and you shot him? And I was like, that's not my game. That wasn't the game I was playing that day. It's such a different game no matter where you hunt and what you do. Down there, you're down there hunting in South Florida. And like I said, some of the best duck hunters come from there. And I love that your favorite stories are like those nemesis type of type of feelings, because I think we're all there as a duck hunter, man. I mean, Tristan and I come from, smoking ducks in the marshes of Florida and South Georgia and stuff. And bro, we didn't kill a mallard our first year in Arkansas. Not even close. And that's after spending like 11 hunting days in the public timber, but we were just trying to figure it out, and I always talk about the timber guys. I go, man, if you come down here to our marsh, you're going to cry like a baby, then we'll go out and fish. But it's such a different experience depending on where you're at. There's professionals in every area, and it could be just the smallest of things. But the nemesis thing, that one, I could not get that monkey off my back on the mallard. And actually my first mallard in Arkansas was at Delta Thunder Outfitters. And Tristan's got a funny video that we haven't played yet because there's a lot of cursing in it. I dropped this mallard, and this is probably my favorite story of the last 2 years, is this mallard came over and I knew it was a drake. And I looked up, and I think somebody else shot the other one, but I boom, boom, shot it on the second shot. The wind was probably 15 miles an hour blowing away from us, and it caught wind. And dude, it landed out there. I don't know. It had to be 150 yards in a flooded rice field. And so I jumped right out of the freaking pit blind. I mean, right out. Just jumped out like an Army trooper and went because I was not going to be denied. No way am I losing. If that thing's wounded, I'm not losing. I'll go to Memphis, Tennessee to get that sucker. And I ran across this field, and Tristan's got a real funny, like a fast forward of it. But Cade said from his perspective that he goes, how many shells can he hold in that gun? He said, holy shit. He said, I was running, and Cade said it didn't look like that I missed a beat. I shoot 3 shells, and as I shot one, another one came out of my holster, went into the chamber, and it was like I had this rotating right arm the whole time, and boom, 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 boom. I was going to smoke, and I'm taking shots. I started my first shot 60 yards, chase this thing over, then it goes up and over the dike into a rim ditch. And I'm like, oh my God, he's going to go in that rim ditch and dive. I came across the top of that rim ditch, and he was standing there, and I didn't need to let more than one shot loose, but I blew its head off, dude. I mean, I was so, it was funny, but it can be just one duck, right? And it's that nemesis. And so you're going to be chasing the spoonie this year, right?
Try to.
You need a t-shirt that says that.
Coming in.
You need a t-shirt that says that. It says chase the spoon.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Even though it doesn't sound too good.
No, but everybody knows as a duck hunter what we're talking about. So man, you in the very beginning you talked a little bit about your YouTube channel. Talk about what you're doing on there. If somebody wants to go in into, especially the younger generation, they have such a small attention span. What can somebody see when they come and look at what SoFlo Outdoors is putting on the YouTube?
You're going to be seeing me do quite a bit of freshwater fishing, a little bit of saltwater fishing, and mainly duck hunting. But the majority of my content is fishing right now, but I hope to take that up a notch this season, because I'm planning on doing a little bit of traveling to get on some birds this year. So it's going to be an exciting journey to do this YouTube.
That's cool, man. That's going to be awesome. And I know that we've subscribed with you, and we look forward to watching some of that stuff you put out, man. It's just unique. It's different. If y'all are out there looking for a different experience, man, I mean, this guy knows the South Flow. So, where can everybody find you on social media at?
YouTube, it is SoFlo Outdoors.
Okay.
And on Instagram, it is SoFlo Waterfowlers, but you can also find me as SoFlo Outdoors.
All right,
on
cool.
Instagram.
Cool. You on it?
And I don't have Facebook or anything like that, and no Twitter. Too toxic, just like Facebook. All toxic.
I've been southbound, I've been hellbound, riding on a midnight train.